dude. Like it's and it's disheartening. Like even with this fool Thumper that keep coming down here, like in one sense he's like he wants to show bravado and be like, oh well, wasn't no southerner. Like I ran into a fool from 18. You probably ran into somebody that ain't even with the business no more.
The narrative is, you know, it's on site with Andy Norteño out there. Man, I proved that wrong for sure.
Pocho, you're lame, dog. Quit saying my name, dog. You thirsty getting clout. You get no views on your podcast anyways, dog. Stop capping, my boy. Yeah, you reached out. You talk good about me. I never did an interview with you, my boy. You wanted to go on live. I never did, because why? I know what it is. You're making a narrative that's never going to happen. Dog, there's too much bloodshed, too much bullshit going on. Prison is prison. The streets is the streets.
Because, you know, I ran into that Southsider and he kept it real nice, real peasy with
But is that the narrative though? Because that's, or is that the net banging narrative?
Facts.
Right? Because
yeah,
like I've seen a lot of people, right, besides net bangers, but I've seen a lot of people say like, man, you go out there with respect, you won't get respect, and that's
facts.
That's like
facts. Yeah. What would you? I would have never thought. Insane speaking facts. What do you do? What it is? What it was. This is your boy Fulcher of the Chicano Podcast. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and support a real one in the video. Today we talking about Thumper. I also keep thinking about that whack-ass fool Thumper North Bay, but no, this is the real Thumper coming out of Sacramento, California. No Paperwork Podcast, Hater World, a little bit of that. Mostly Neil Lazard. Thumper versus Neil Lazard. They calling each other out on the internet, kind of looking funny, because both of these fools seem to be honorable men. Let's talk about Neil Lazard first of all. Black Sureno coming out of that 818 The Valley. I think it was Sun Valley to be exact, but it could be wrong. I think it's that would be like the North Valley. I've watched this guy since the beginning. I was a fan, supporter, whatever you want to say. Shout out to Neil Lazard. That fool probably don't like me, but I liked his content because I believed him. I don't care if you're from the other side, this side, green, blue, yellow. I just want to believe that you believe what you're saying and that you don't lie. There's a lot of podcasters that lie to benefit their side, their friends, whatever. If you notice, at this place, bro, I keep it. It's not objective. It's not objective. It is my point of view. That's all. Now, I don't speak for Santa Rosa. I don't speak for Norte. I speak for me, dog, a grown man, one person. I only speak for one person. I don't speak for the whole Chicano podcast. I speak for Pocho. But Neil Lazard seemed to be a solid dude. He's a black Sureno, had a different experience, got on YouTube, told his story, and a lot of people wanted to hear it, including me. He took a big break off of YouTube, but I definitely think that he would, if they ran the fade, that this fool would get on him probably. I don't know, Thumper, we'll talk about him next. Fit, and I've seen little dudes, bro. I've seen little dudes, skinny dudes, knock fools out, dog. All you guys don't get it. It just takes a little bit of love in this jaw right here, and it's over for you, dude. Boom. It don't matter how big you are, and the bigger you are, the harder you fall, my boy. So I always say it's not worth getting into who could fight who and this and that, because you just never know. I've seen every kind of fight happen, and I hate when I have something wrong. And I've seen every kind of person win and every kind of person lose. But Neil Lazard is probably like Insane sign. If it's funny, if you look at how big Insane looks, I think it might be just the camera angle, but he looks huge compared to, let me see if I move it a little bit. He looks huge. I don't want to use it too much. He looks huge compared to Thumper. Anyway, so Neil Lazard basically calling out Thumper for coming down to LA and coming down and with mixed reviews, right? And I kind of agree. I feel like in this situation, everybody's right. Now, Thumper was just saying, if you're going to come down and you want to make a name and pop your shit, and that's what the hater were saying, hey, go watch the hater words reaction. That fool has probably the best reaction I've seen in a long time. So shout out to the hater world. When you're right, bro. Thumper came down here popping it and kind of half-assing it. I want to come down for business, pleasure, but then I want to pop it. And the only thing that I don't like about all this is that Insane's kind of saying, Thumper, why are you following the internet narrative about Southsiders, you know, and why are all of us? And that's why, Insane, if you see this, bro, you probably won't, but somebody send this to him. Do not funk with me. Do not talk shit about me so I won't have to talk shit about you, because I actually think you're pretty right on everything you be speaking on. You speak a lot of facts, bro. So hopefully we can just keep this shit not between me and you, bro. Plus, this motherfucker looks just like my cousin George, and it's hard to hate somebody that looks like somebody you love. So, for that being said, Insane, please, bro, let's be cool. And I will say this real quick. The Hater World said it. The No Paperwork podcast is starting to do some things that are more relatable. They're starting to find their niche. I finally found a fucking piece of bread. They're finally kind of finding their niche. I hope. I was in support of them from the beginning, but once they started hating on me, bringing people on to hate on me, that's when I was like, oh, these fools are politicking on me. I hate when people do that. But Insane Speaking Facts, that fool's a real podcaster. Everybody else, So, Thumper comes down here, bro, but he comes down here popping it. But he doesn't do it the right way. They're saying that Thumper says in a right way. He said that they said, oh, you can't come down here. So he came down there, and I get that. Especially being a young buck out of prison, you kind of want to show that, bro, I can go anywhere I want, bro. What are you talking about? You know? So I get that part. So everybody's right. He was right for having the right to want to come down here. Lazard said, if you're going to pop it, don't go to the beach. Don't go to the tourist area. You know what I mean? And go to his reaction for that. Don't go to the tourist area. Don't, you know, we all know it. The thing is, if you got to know LA really good. Like, the handball courts sound cool, but there's a bunch of tourists around there. That's where Muscle Beach is. Yeah, Venice 13 is there. But to be honest, the whole time I was living in Santa Monica and going to Venice, I never saw Venice 13 like at the handball courts that much. You got to go into California Street, my boy. You got to go to the park, my boy. See, I know the community out there. I could show you where you need to go to meet Venice. I know. Shout out to my homeboy Sneaky from Venice 13 who lived in Santa Monica on freaking 17th Street, which is crazy. He lived on the street of his ops. But Southsiders are different, bro. Like, they have personal relationships. They could have cousins from the other side. So you could live in your ops neighborhood and still be cool because some of your family's from the ops. It's a real deep thing. It's really actually based on a lot of personal beefs over money and women. But anyway, so Lazard's telling Thumper, hey, bro, if you're going to come down here and pop it, come to the hood, though. You know, don't go to the tourist area. You feel me? And you're going to find trouble. And, of course, Thumper says, well, I'm not going to make it easy for you, fool. But at the same time, bro, I mean, if you want to talk all that, you should go see about it. You know, it's just like anybody. When you join a gang, that's not the end. That's the beginning. Now you got to jump off the porch and let people know who you really are. Because what happens is you usually put in a little bit of work before you get in the hood. But then it's like now you got to put that, you know, that gangster into acceleration. So, should he come down and go to South Central and try to catch fades? I mean, I guess if that's what he's looking for, but he wasn't really looking for it. Basically, this whole thing is dirty and retarded and just doesn't make any sense, bro. Lazard, come up to the Bay Area, have a great time. Thumper, go down to LA and have a great time. This is crazy that we're crying over who's going where and that, you know, if you want to catch a fade for this and that. And Thumper even says, you know, I could knock out 2 of these fools. And real quick, Thumper is a Norteño coming out of Sacramento, California. Got real popular for going on a YouTube channel with it.
Some Southsider get out the car dressed in all blue.
A dude and his dad, and I still think that channel's a little weird, but shout out to them. I mean, they're from the East Coast and they like review videos. And anyway, they're starting to come out to Northern California. I think it's cool that they picked Northern California. I think they picked Northern California because it's more like New York, where we're cool with the blacks and everything. But J-Ren TV or something. But anyway, they interview Thumper, and Thumper talks about being drunk and going to get some more liquor, and that the Southsider in San Jose he saw a Southsider and he hit him up, and the Southsider told him, hey, keep walking like all you busters do. And so the fool pulled his strap and busted on him, shot him and maybe his 10-year-old son in front of Panda Express, and went to prison for a gang of years. Came out solid, and it's solid. I mean, I know that fool probably don't like me, or not feeling me. He don't know me, but I respect his whole discipline, get down, work out. I think it's all about being relatable. So all that stuff's relatable to me. I like how he talks, how he carries himself, that he keeps himself up. I respect all that about him. I do think that Insane kind of educates the little homie and says, hey, bro, that's the internet, though. That's the internet. That's the internet talking. That's not real Southsiders, because like me, I went down to LA, and no matter how you feel, I went to LA and I was still from an active gang. I'm not going to say the gang. I'm not going to get on to it. I spent probably a year on probation before I went to left. It was called drug court probation. I was the first person to ever graduate that in the state of California. In my city, my bad. I don't go too far. In Santa Rosa. And I was on the gang list. Back then there was a gang list, you know what I mean? And you can get more time for being a gangster than actually, but they would wait. They'd make you do a crime and then hit you with gang enhancement. And in the state of California, it's illegal to be a gang member. They got rid of that gang list because it's kind of like not fair almost, because people were getting on that list. Anybody that knows about this, if you were just kicking it with the homies, you could get on that list. But I left I graduated that program, graduated high school, and moved to Santa Monica. But I came out there with respect, but I had gang tattoos. Within a couple of years, everybody around me basically knew where I was from, and they were cool with it. And I was living with the people, bro. I was living on 20th and Pico, right next to 17th Street, right by Sotel, Culver City, Venice. My friends were starting to become Southsiders that were also changing their lives. Sneaky, I didn't meet him in the hood. I met him at Santa Monica College. He was actually the monitor, like the person that you come check in your name when you want to use a computer. Imagine that. A guy from Venice 13. And so, I'm getting up a little bit, but I really went out there and I didn't just come for vacation, bro. I went out there and got married, broke my heart, broke a couple hearts, graduated from community college, from Cal State Northridge, from USC, went to work, Homeboy Industries, had a whole life and career. Lived in Santa Monica, the Valley, Westlake, Pico Union, Boyle Heights, Pasadena. You feel me? Where else did I live, man? I lived everywhere. El Monte when I was in rehab. Oh, man, shout out to EMF. They let me live. So, you go out there with respect and you do get respect. And that's why people, for way before me, were going down to LA. And people way before me were coming up north. Not just establishing neighborhoods, but even in our neighborhood, there'd be fools that come from LA, but they were just hiding out or whatever, trying to get away. They were Southsiders. We weren't tripping on them. We would kick it with them. We were cool with them. It was the fools that were up here trying to change things around, right? Some guy in the comments said it, trying to challenge generational neighborhoods, and it didn't work out. They didn't take. There was a moment when Southsiders had a thing going here, but it just didn't take. There wasn't enough of them. To be honest, there's still way more Chicanos in Northern California than there are Paisas, probably. So, Southern California, I don't know. But so basically, I just think that I went down there with respect and got respect and survived and have long-term friends, everything down there. Thumper, you're going down there, but you're doing the whole internet thing. And I get it. You want to show people, get some clout and show people that you can go anywhere. But I really think that both of you guys need to just come together or just leave each other alone. And I think all this, I'm going to show you the whole, I'm going to go to your hood and take a picture. I think it's just so cheesy. Or catching fades. Even me, when I was like, I'll catch a fade with BFD, all these guys, even these new guys that are hating on me. It's childish. I agree. And I'll catch a fade with anybody, anytime, bro. I promise you. I'm really like that. And if I have a temper and I make bad decisions sometimes, then I'm unpredictable. So that's not somebody that you want to mess with in the streets, though. Because I might chance it all, just because I'm feeling that way that day. Or I might hold back because I'm with my kid or my family. So I wouldn't challenge me or test me. I wouldn't ever want to deal with me. But I will end with this. That Thumper needs to find a new career or whatever, because this whole back and forth is just, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Just be a podcast or whatever you are, fitness instructor. Focus on that, bro. Get clients. But getting clout off of gangbanging just doesn't seem, good. Lazard, come back. Good perspective, bro. I know you're not into the kumbaya, but it's already happening. So I don't know why you guys can't just deal with the progression of time. We're either going to unite as a raza or brown or black and poor people in general, or we're going to all die in bad ways and our families are going to stay poor and we're all going to go to shits. So you guys make the decision. Do you guys want to keep like hyenas on the internet, buffooning yourself? Do you guys think both of your homeboys from prison are proud of you guys getting on the internet? I just think it's cheesy. I'm a podcaster, bro. I'm not getting on the internet as a Norteño. I'm not getting on the internet as a Sureno. I'm not getting on the internet as, oh, look at me, I'm a GP active Norteño. I'm getting on the internet as a podcaster, and you should try it. If you're going to get on this internet, stop gangbanging, stop representing neighborhoods that you're not in. Because you're over here representing, it's like me representing South Park a lot. The reason, these are what the homeboys told me. And I'm not even a fucking, never went to prison. I'm just a gang member that totally changed his life. Long time ago. They told me, don't talk to dropouts or work with them. Don't talk about prison. You never went. And don't say your gang name, because what I'm saying something right now, it could affect the homies on the block that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And so, again, I don't know you guys. This is my perspective. I'm not speaking for South Park, for Santa Rosa. I'm not speaking for South Park, Santa Rosa, Norte, Northern California, none of that. I'm speaking for Pocho. I named it the Pocho podcast because I wanted to focus on my point of view. I opened it up to the Chicano podcast because I'm really talking about the Chicano experience. And I want to start to open this thing up. So please, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and support a real one in the field. And let me know if Lazard is right. That says Thumper, if you're going to come down here, come to the hood if you really want it. And let me know if Thumper's right. That I did come down there. Now you're moving the goalposts. Where, when will you be happy? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I could take 2 of you fools. That's how we are Northerners. We were always down to take 2 or 3 fools. To be honest, in the 90s, there were times when you could, I know it's hard to imagine, we could have been outnumbered in Santa Rosa. But now, I think we all know who won that war. Anyway, I think the war is with ourselves and our egos, and I hope that we all win. So I hope Lazard, Thumper, I hope all you guys win. Insane, you speaking nothing but facts. Go watch the Paperwood podcast on this one with Thumper and Insane. Insane literally speaks a gang of facts. Gotta give it up to him. I can't not give it up to fools when they're keeping it real. BFD, take notes from this fool Insane. Thumper, man, you're too classy, dog. Don't get caught up in all this petty stuff that we're involved in. Go do something more, more progressive that is going to help your life, man. You seem like a real cool dude, man. Lazard, come back to YouTube, dog. We miss you. I know you're a real one. I saw you in your security guard outfit, having to deal with real life, waking up and having to go to work like a real man. That's dope, bro. I don't know you, but I respect you, and I think we need you back on YouTube. This is your boy Pocho One, and I'm out.